This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per talk.
5 and 6 million. He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
This is episode 681. Coming up tomorrow morning, I talk to Vinod, and he breaks down why tech companies are opening in Salt Lake City, especially new offices. His company just did it. It's called Cloud Cherry.
Good morning, everybody. My guest this morning is Eduardo Gonzalez. 2 years ago, he started working on Instagram as a broke college student with a vision to become one of the largest influencers. With literally $0 in investment, he learned the game and began growth hacking different Instagram pages. Today, he stands with over 5 million followers combined across multiple different niches on Instagram. Eduardo, are you ready to take us to the top?
I'm just ready to let you guys know what I know.
Good. Why is it important to build an Instagram following? A lot of people say these are just vanity things. It just makes you feel good if you have 1 million followers. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Awesome. So I people come to me all the time and they ask me, well, is your Instagram famous, or what does it actually mean? And I always tell people, the power of social media is absolutely limitless. The way you can connect with like-minded individuals to do creative content, the way you can have a more intimate relationship between brands and consumers is invaluable, and that's something that traditional marketing hasn't been able to keep up with us yet. So the important thing about social media and what it can do for you is if you're a small business and you're a brand and you want to get exposure to a larger audience, or you want to get some type of service out there, you're a public figure and you want to deliver a great message to people, social media is an absolutely great way to be able to target people on mobile devices. And you can actually now be able to really do geographic preferences as to where you want your followers to be. So a lot of what people think is social media, it's just viral content that goes up and then people kind of get famous. There's actually more strategic planning that goes into it than people think.
Eduardo, there's a lot of just totally fake people in this social media consulting world that just because you're a millennial doesn't mean you're a good social media consultant, but you look like a rock star. You have the hair, you got the look, you got the face. If you guys can see this guy on YouTube, he's killing it. But even when he turns his headgear in the light, it shimmers. It stars come off of it, right? So Eduardo, walk me through some of the bigger names you've worked with so that people understand this is working for you. I think you work with Gary Vee. Who else?
So I helped do Tai Lopez with some of his social media marketing. I was also one of the first people to help Movement Watches. They're actually a larger watch brand now. They're one of the biggest watch brands that started with social media, and they have an amazing story. Movement Watches came to me when I was first on Tumblr, and I started growing on Tumblr as a luxury blogger, and I was able to grow a couple 100,000 followers there. So that's actually before Instagram. And Movement Watches came to me as a small startup. They were doing affiliate marketing. So I stayed with them from their small affiliate marketing stage. So now I actually saw them last week in Nordstrom.
What do they pay? What do they pay you?
So they pay me for a wide number of services. They first started with affiliates. So whatever sales I can get them back, they track with a coupon code, and that's a really good way for a lot of brands to be able to track what their return on investment is from consumers. So
what cut did you get?
So I was getting about 15%.
Okay. And so do they pay you any flat fees for Instagram content management or anything like that?
Yeah. So then after we started working on Instagram, then we started doing pay for posts. So they had creative content, and then they started doing, we'll pay you this much money for this. So the price per post actually depends on the page. And I always ask my clients, can I see your content? What are you trying to show? Because I want to target the exact audience you want. And prices vary depending on content and the type of following they're trying to engage in.
And so let's say, what's the price per post on average? What does the watch company pay you?
So if they're doing classy Savant, if they're doing a 380,000 follower luxury niche, it's going to be about $125 to $150 per post, and that lasts you about a day.
And is this the watch company you're posting the watch company like an advertisement on other pages, or this is the content you're creating for their own page?
So this is content they've created with their visual team, and they're sending it to me, and then I pick the ones I feel fit my page the most, and then I post them.
I see. So they're paying $120 to $150 per post. You leave that Instagram post up for a day on your network of accounts and then take it down.
Right. So that's like that's one page. That's an example of one page. It's a 380,000 follower luxury like niche page.
Talk to me about Tai Lopez. So what does he pay you, and what was the strategy there?
So Tai Lopez came to me, and they had a marketing team that I was very close friends with. And Tai Lopez wanted to.
Who leads that?
Basically
the marketing team.
They work more closely together with, I believe, Fleyshman and Branden Hampton. But I believe that he also has someone working else again. But basically, the idea with Tai Lopez was they wanted to blow up, and Tai Lopez did a lot of the he did a lot of the giveaways. Like you see, like he did a lot of the giveaways, and he was basically doing all these online marketing courses to bring value to people in the social media world. It was a great strategy because people on social media, some of them actually understand the value of what you can do with online businesses. So he took that as a competitive edge and made an online course. He worked with some experts, and then he was doing these online courses. And then from there, the way you were making viral content is he was doing giveaways. And the way he promoted his giveaways was he'd have a massive list of influencers, a huge network, and he'd basically have his team reach out to all the influencers, and then they'd see, what best fit what they were doing. So then from there, he had a visual team create content for him.
But Eduardo, I want to focus on you. So where do you fit into all this?
So I either fit on this with either consulting. So they come to me and ask me, hey, what do you think is the best way to strategize, like do this whole, this is what we want to do. What's the best way to do it? So people consult me on what their best thing is. And then either I'll do the visual creation content because I have a team. So I'll get my photographers, my videographers to make the content for you. And then I'll reach out to all my influencer networking on top of all my pages, and then I feature you and get that strategy going.
Okay, so for like Tai Lopez, tell me specifically what he said. You said they come to you, they say, hey, I want this, and we'll pay you this for that. I mean, what specifically, like tell me about a project you work with Tai.
Okay, cool. So Tai Lopez was doing social media growth, and he's like, I need to grow this many followers.
How many?
So he came to me. We're doing like 10,000 followers at the moment. So it was just like a simple 10,000 follower growth.
So he just wanted, what was his page size at that point?
The page size was a little like less than 500,000 at this point.
Okay, so it's 500,000. He says, Eduardo, I want to hire you to get 10,000 more followers.
Right. So from there, what we do is I'm like, okay, this is what we should do. So then this is what I pitched him, his visual team. So I told him, this is what your visual team should create the content. If you don't want me doing it, this is what your visual team should do it, because then I'd have to fly out to where he was to do it. So then we create the visual content for him. Then what we do is I on all my pages, figured out what's the best post time, all the schedules, and then we posted all his content during this. We tracked all the analytics on it, and then we gave it back to him. So as he was growing all his following, we were able to say, hey, look, this is where your best return on this is where your best followers are coming from. This is where the most engaging followers are coming from. And then we sort of weed out all the pages that weren't performing as good. And then we start making a more tailored list of the pages and the audiences that he fit best. And then we kept doing that until he reached his goal of 10,000.
And how long did that take you?
That took me about a week and a half.
And what did he pay you for that?
He paid me $5,000.
Okay. And what, like, you mentioned you kind of weed out non-performers versus the ones performing the best. Specifically for Tai's case, before we move on to the rest of your business, what page was most successful in driving him new users or new followers?
We had one page, and the page is called Big.Toys. That page is really awesome because that page is about a 930,000 follower luxury page that we have. Okay. And what we do with that is basically it's just the age group in that is 18 to 24 and then 25 to 34. And it's so massive, and it just has a lot of followers in the US. So first of all, it's already tailoring to people that are already in his area. And then since it's such a larger age group of people, a lot of them were actually interested to learn more about his online courses and all that.
So why doesn't Tai just go buy this page? Like, isn't that probably cheaper than paying $5,000 over and over to keep using it?
So sometimes people actually come to me and they ask me, hey, like, should I buy a page? And this is you can do this, and this is something that people do, but when you rebrand a page, you also lose some of the following, and it isn't as organic. So I want people to understand, like, yes, you can go out and buy a page, but if you want to do it, you should probably try buying a page that's as similar and as close to the exact message you're going to do. If you want to rebrand it to a brand, you're more likely to perform better. But if you want to rebrand it to a public figure, you're not going to buy a fashion page and then post cars on it all day long. It's not really going to work very well. So
wrap up your whole business for me. So again, Tai Lopez, have you worked with Gary Vee?
I work with Gary Vee.
Okay, on his Instagram strategy?
Yeah, so I was more like just social media growth, like doing a lot of promotions for his viral content.
Okay. And was it the same kind of relationship? Hey, I want 10,000 followers. Here's $5,000. Go do it.
Something like that, yeah. So it was a lot similar. So they came to me and they said, this is the type of content we want to promote. We want to see as many followers as you can get us. And then we went from there.
Okay. Name some other names you've worked with that people might know.
So we've done Movement Watches. We've done Gary Vee. We've talked about Tai Lopez. We've also talked about, there's a couple other brands. I worked a little bit with Secret Entourage. So with Secret Entourage, Fleyshman actually came to me and he wanted to promote some of his online marketing courses. And then from there, he basically, wanted just people to sign up for his I believe Secret Entourage is like an online course. It's like it's a community too. So I worked with them. I did them. I worked with some smaller brands. Now I'm working on doing a large influencer weekend with Rolls-Royce. So that's in the works right now. I don't want to say too much about that, but that's something that we're working on.
Drop that bait, baby. The open loop.
Yeah.
So who's like, is there like a grand master behind the scenes of all this? Like, is there someone that, like you mentioned, an Excel sheet with all the Instagram like followers? Like, it sounds like you might be one of the guys that's driving the growth of a lot of these pages that many of us wouldn't even realize, like Gary Vee. Are there other people that you really respect that have even kind of a larger reach than you do, or no?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple. When you get closer to like a lot of the people, what we do, it's you have a lot of people who have like just these large number of followers. So I have 5 million, and then with my business partner, Mr. Goodlife, Rock Goodlife, a lot of people know who he is. Us combined, we have about 11 million. So then he has his list of his content, and I do. And then we have Dan Fleyshman and Branden Hampton. So they're also some people that we've worked with before in the past, and they're past the 30 million mark. So they're also some really awesome people that we work with. He's pretty much who we respect a lot.
What's his main Instagram account?
So at his personal Instagram is @money. It's Branden Hampton, and Dan Fleyshman's just Dan Fleyshman. But they just have like a laundry list of just pages after page after page.
Have they bought these pages, or they have just relationships with the people that own those pages?
I believe. Well, they grew their network, so they grew a lot of their own pages, and then they acquired it. They acquired some of them themselves.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Who's doing what? Let me again go back to your business for a second. So what year did you launch Classy Savant, which is the consulting company that does all this, right?
Right. So I launched this I started Instagram about 2 years ago. And then after about a year, I started growing these large pages, and I was doing small promotions, small companies where, I saw companies were, sending me a little bit of money via, everybody does PayPal on Instagram, but if you get more serious, you should probably avoid PayPal. And then after a while, people were asking me, you know what, I want to do these, like, you seem to know what you're doing. I want to do like a larger campaign, like, 4 or 5 figures. And then I was like, okay, well, this is getting very serious. And then at that point, I realized when someone said, hey, do you have a tax ID? And I'm like, I should probably get a little more serious about my business. And then from there, I launched Classy Savant. And Classy Savant didn't launch until last year, so okay. 2016. That was like when it was official.
And what was total 2016 revenue?
Total 16 revenue. So I launched it in August, and I made about $48,000.
Okay, and what do you think you'll do this year, 2017?
I'm looking to at least break the 100,000 mark.
Awesome.
So I'm on track to do that now, so everything should go well.
What is it? It's April 4th when we're recording this. How much have you done so far to date?
I'm close. I'm about what I made last year already.
So 40. That's great.
So I'm on track.
And what's your team look like? Is it just you? I see some seats behind you. Are those team members' chairs or what?
No, I'm actually in my home office now, but I actually have a few people that work with me. So again, Rock Goodlife is my business partner, so we cross-collaborate and do a lot of business together. And then I have one of my other partners, he's Mark. He's a little more behind the scenes. Then I have a few other interns. I have a few other people who help me run a lot of the pages. I have a few photographers who we don't have like a central office, but whenever we meet up, we do stuff together. So then I have a few photographers in New York City, and we do creative content. And then I also reach out to other photographers when they're in LA. That's why I was in LA a couple months ago.
What tools do you use to find things like, the hashtags to use for a new client to get them followers? Mm-hmm. Any tools? Just give me a laundry list of all the tools you use.
Right. So I think one of the most well-known tools people use, it's called socialblade.com. That's just a free online. Just you could type in anybody's username as long as they're not private, and it'll give you some basic statistics about their daily growth, how much media they uploaded, and it's just a basic tool just to see how much people grow. That's just a very simple tool. Then there's one called Social Rank, socialrank.com, and that one's pretty awesome. That one you can farm all sorts of information from. And that one's the one that you have to sign in. So you actually have to sign in with your Instagram. And a lot of people are very weary of it, but I can vouch for socialrank.com. It's one of the only websites I will ever vouch for. Be extremely careful with ever signing in anywhere. But socialrank.com has been an amazing tool. And it basically first tells you can actually look up what your top followers are. So who has the most followers that are following you? So then you can start catering to, the largest audience that you are reaching in terms of the people who have a large audience that follow you. So how important are you amongst the community of either celebrities, athletes, and a really well-known public figure? So that's socialrank.com. You could also start looking up, who was your first follower? Who was your most recent follower? And you can see trend lines as to see, your geographic. Then the second tool is when you switch your Instagram from a public to a business page. After you switch it to a business page from here, what you basically do is you're able to go in. It's actually in-app. It's actually a very powerful tool. You're able to see who are your top cities, who are your top countries. You can see your gender breakdown, so male, female percentages. And then these are just important numbers for you to put together. If you ever want to work with a larger brand, you're able to tell them, hey, look, this is what male followers, this is what female followers are using. In terms of hashtags are always interesting because you can Google what are the top hashtags. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to work for you. For example, if you hashtag @love, it has millions upon millions of hashtags, and you might just get thrown in there. What you really want to do is if you ever want to start working with hashtags, you want to keep it in between 5 to 15. You never really want to do more than that. And then after you do 5 to 15, it's really good if you're a brand to create your own hashtag. That's one of the best tools I tell people to do because then you can see how engaged your consumers are. So someone will say, like the classic Savant hashtag, you can look it up and people will be like, this is what people are hashtagging. And then you can actually see people are going out of their way, spending time out of their day to, hashtag your content. So that's a great way.
Okay, Top Tribe, as many of you know, I sold Heyo, and everyone is always asking me what my expenses were when I was building Heyo. Well, a big expense was that I spent over $3,000 per month on financial services to keep me out of trouble in terms of taxes. My mom would always harbor me, Nathan, you gotta keep all your receipts and put them in a freaking box or something to make sure you don't get an audit or things like this. I'm like, Mom, I'm a millennial. You think I'm gonna keep all these receipts? I now use FreshBooks. I use their mobile app to take a picture of receipts, and it makes taxes a cinch. Additionally, I don't have to hire a $3,000 per month person to manage all my finances. It's like saving so much money, and my mom's happy. Additionally, I don't waste a bunch of time creating invoices. I use their templates, and I can avoid using Word templates or Excel files. I just use FreshBooks to quickly send out invoices, and it works like a charm. To get your free first month, go to nathanlatka.com/FreshBooks and enter the top in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Again, go to nathanlatka.com/FreshBooks and enter the top in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
There you guys have it from Eduardo. I tried to milk as much information from him as possible in under 10 minutes. So, Eduardo, let's wrap up here, man, with the famous 5. You ready?
All right.
All right, number 1, what's your favorite business book?
What's my favorite business book? I love Think, Grow, Prosper, but I do think The Alchemist in terms of motivation and getting yourself just feeling better about what you can do in life is a great book.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying currently?
CEO I'm following and studying. I really enjoy looking at Jack Forsey, and he was on Twitter, so I really enjoy watching him and seeing what he does. But there's a ton of other CEOs that I really enjoy. Obviously, I love to see what Bill Gates does, and I kind of have to follow Mark Zuckerberg because he's, on Facebook, Instagram, so he just is the man. So those are my top 3.
Number 3, you already named a few, but is there an online tool that you really love, like HostGator?
Probably socialrank.com. That's probably my favorite tool, just to see who's my top followers.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I'm lucky if I get 4.
Okay, holy mackerel. And how old are you?
I'm 22. I just turned 22.
Nice, man. And so I assume you're single, no kids?
No kids. I'm single,
None
yes.
that you know of, right?
Not that I know of. Not yet.
All right, Eduardo. Last question here. Take us back 2 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I wish I would have studied more programming. I'm really happy with what I've done and what I've achieved, but I really wish I would have taken some more programming classes just to teach me some of how to automate a lot of this work. And now I have to hire people to do it for me.
There you guys have it from Eduardo. Again, he started his business and he just started making money. And then someone goes, do you have a tax ID number? So he finally sets up a legit business. Well, it was legit before, but he officialized it last year, did about 40 grand last year in revenue, is on track to break the $100,000 mark here in 2017. He's worked with the biggest names that you know of, Gary Vee, Tai Lopez, many others to grow their Instagram accounts. Humble dude. He's crushing it. Eduardo, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you so much.
If you enjoyed today's episode with Eduardo, go back and listen to yesterday's episode with the Reply.io CEO, Oleg Campbell. He tells us how to start a company with very little savings. It would mean the world to me if you guys got any value from this episode, if you would go leave a review on iTunes right now and then subscribe. You know, I hustle like heck to get these episodes out every freaking day for you guys, and trust me, I love it. I would do it with no listeners, but boy, oh boy, it makes my day and it makes my team's day when we see great reviews and get your feedback. So thanks so much. Okay, Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google Ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan.